people saying, look at these things that have been displayed in Peru, they look so strange. And then, of course, a lot of people were saying, well, yes, they are strange, but they're probably fake. And thereby hangs a tale and began a controversy. Daily Mail reported this week a NASA contractor is reportedly looking to study, quotes, alien bodies that were presented to Mexico's Congress during a controversial UFO hearing. Jaime Maussan, a veteran broadcast journalist and prolific ufologist who presented the corpses, told the Daily Mail that an unnamed third-party contractor has been in contact with him about carrying out a full DNA investigation, potentially on behalf of the US Space Agency. That's about as much as you need to know for now, I think. We've got some images to bring you along the way with this, but most importantly, we've got Jaime Maussan himself on here. Jaime, thank you for coming on. It's really good of you to do this.
Yeah, my pleasure, Howard. My pleasure.
Now, the way that
I didn't know you were looking for me.
I was. I mean, I'm just going to explain. The way that this happened was sheer happenstance. The station that I'm on put out a video of an interview I did with somebody about and around this, and we showed some of the images. We talked about it obliquely over the last couple of weeks. And I said, I've been trying to contact Jaime Maussan. In fact, my setup producer, John, had been trying to email you, not having any luck with it. And then a friend of yours got in touch with me through my website and said, I know Jaime Maussan, I'll put you in touch. And that's why we're speaking now. It's sheer serendipity.
Yeah, well, it's very easy when you know how to, but I'm here to answer any of your questions. I know you have many doubts.
Okay, now you know, and we'll touch on this, that this has been deeply controversial since you did this. So I suppose, and if we've got any images that we can flash up here, it will be interesting to see them. But that session of a committee of the Mexican Congress and these alien mummies, so-called from Peru, that story went round the world. Why did you take them? And that's some of the footage that was, displayed to the world from this session. Why did you take them to Mexico, Jaime?
No, I didn't. I investigated this case in Peru from 2017 to the beginning of the pandemic. Then last year, I found out that someone in Mexico had brought two bodies. When I talked to him, he told me that he had done this legally. And then that's what he has the papers, he said. When it's necessary, he's going to show them. But he didn't go to Peru to get them. They were brought to Mexico because he has an investigative institution. And the reason he wanted the body was to investigate them. And that's the reason. But no, I don't have anything to do with that.
All right. You know that according to the newspapers and wire services that I see here, there is supposedly in Peru a criminal investigation on that involves you. And you're saying here tonight that you knew nothing of the origins of this, and you certainly didn't steal them from Peru, and you did not bring them in.
I haven't been notified. No, but I don't think there is anything like that in Peru. All the opposite. I'm thinking in suing the Ministry of Culture because they discredit this case with lies. What I mean, they investigated, Flavio Estrada, an archaeologist, investigated one body that was brought to him in 2017. It was a small body, 30 centimeters. It has nothing to do with the big bodies that I presented. It means that what the Ministry of Culture is saying, that these are assembled, that they are fakes, that they were made, is not true.
Well, that's been one of the many allegations, hasn't it, Jaime? Sorry to jump in there, but it's important. And I know people were saying, oh, listen, he's interrupting. I think I've got to at this point. There were a lot of people who said that these are clearly constructs. They are faked.
How? Have they presented any evidence, or they just say it? It's easy to say, difficult to demonstrate. I haven't seen anything that proves that these bodies are hoaxes. It's just opinions and so on. I presented a doctor, a forensic expert, one of the best in Mexico, one of the best. He presented his investigation. Nobody's is talking about that because that's very strong. You see, the people who are doing these commentaries, they are doing from far away because no one has come to us to investigate them. You said, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to get in touch with you. You said that they should be sent to Oxford. Are the scientists from Oxford willing to come to Mexico? I will provide them with everything we have.
Right.
Everything.
Well, that brings me to a question that I was going to ask you, but you've nicely preempted it. Was why you did this of all places that you could have done this. Why did you bring, or why were they? You said they were already in Mexico because they'd been discovered by somebody who told you that he'd got them legitimately. Why did you not attempt to bring them to, as I said last week, an academic institution in Oxford, maybe Harvard or Stanford in the United States?
No. They don't want to do anything they don't want to do anything with this. You see, and before I presented them, even worse. In Peru, I tried to give the bodies that there are in Peru to the University of San Marcos. And at the very end, the lawyers from the university didn't want to. The only university that is investigating the case right now and is going to present a preliminary report in a few days is the University of Ica, San Luis Gonzaga, or called UNICA.
Which is in Mexico.
That university, there have been 12 scientists have been investigating these bodies for 4 years. That's the way to investigate them. Okay, right. And they're going to present the preliminary report. And I hope they will come to Mexico, to the Congress in Mexico, and they will tell the world what they have found. But because it's going to be very impressive. It's a clear demonstration by a university from the state. It's not a private or anything like that. It's from the state. It's going to present us the results, and the results are going to be shocking for so many people.
So those who've criticized you, you are saying that this report will effectively vindicate you and also prove the authenticity of these alien bodies that you showed?
I don't know if they were going to attack the university because they attacked everything. If they don't, if they take these studies and they analyze the studies and through that they said something wrong, I could accept it. But just by saying that this is a hoax, again, I tell you, the Ministry of Peru never has investigated these bodies. How can they know? How can they know? That's a lie. And from that lie, many other scientists, institutions said, oh, it's a hoax, it's a hoax, it's a hoax. But it's not a hoax. I mean, I'm telling the truth. The bodies are real, are genuine. I've been investigating them for 6 years. Do you think I would take these bodies to the Congress in Mexico to allow the whole world to see it, to destroy me? I mean, I am not crazy. I've been journalist for 53 years, my friend. I know what it is. I know what the risks are. So I never thought that all the attacks would come from a lie. And the Ministry of Culture in Peru lie. Okay, well, you know, I hear what you say. I wish I had somebody on from the ministry to respond. We don't. But I'm hearing what you, Jaime Maussan, say. So you're telling me here, and I want to talk about some of the findings that you've got already about these, because that's very, very important. It's crucial to say here and now, then, those who have said that these are dolls covered in papier-mâché, and those who have said these are constructs involving somehow llama skeletons, they're wrong. Well, the bodies are desiccated. They were, you know, we just found that they had dioxide, chloruro, a poison. They have a poison in the body, then the diatomea earth, and then this poison again, chloruro of cadmio, chloruro. I don't know how you say that in English, sorry. But they have this poison. It means that somebody knew, because this poison wasn't produced 1,000 years ago. It means that they are, besides, let me tell you something else. The metal in the body, they have cadmio and osmio in here, in the chest. And both are very toxic. How can they do that? Why did they do it? Right, and we have to say that what I understand about that is cadmium is the metal that they use, for example, in transistors.
And it is, you know, if you were to ingest it, it would be toxic to you. So you're saying that around the chest area of these mummies, they somehow have inbuilt that metal and another metal.
Transplant, implants, or whatever you want to call them. They are here. We don't know why. We know osmium is used for telecommunications. Most of the bodies, because there are 20, Howard, there are 20 bodies. Most of them have these metals, sometimes in the head, most of the time in the chest, sometimes in the hands. Then there are many evidences when they are really investigated that can prove that this is real. And again, if you can help us with Oxford, I'm willing to pay for all the expenses of the scientists to come to Mexico and do their investigation. Do you think I'm doing that because I think it's a hoax? Of course not. I know it's real.
Let's just make that nice and clear then. I hear what you say about the metal, and we can only speculate about what that metal might be doing here on those mummies and how that could have got there. I think the estimated age of these is 1,600 years, isn't it?
1,000.
1,000 years. Okay. How that could have got...
According to the National University of Mexico, yes, 1,000.
Understood.
Okay.
And for those who will accuse me, of, as some did last week, of interrupting, sometimes you have to clarify something. Sometimes you have to because of the digital delay when you're doing wonderful communications like this across great distances. That's interesting. And let's, just before we go to commercials here, amplify that, because we need to take that further. I suggested last week that maybe if a scientist from Oxford or Cambridge or one of our great research institutes here in this country was interested in checking the bona fides of whatever these might be, bearing in mind, until you've checked them, you don't know that they're fakes. You don't know that they're real. You just know that they're there. But if you check them, you will get some answers. So, Jaime, you're making an offer, and you state that offer as we go to commercials. Just say it again for me.
Yes. I am willing to pay for all the expenses of 2 or 3 scientists that come from Oxford University to Mexico to investigate the bodies. We will give them everything we have, and whatever they need, we will try to get it from them, for them.
Jaime Maussan, we're going to take some commercials. I'll come back to you. We'll talk about what we think we might know about these bodies up to now next. Jaime Maussan, I think we're making some headlines here tonight on the Unexplained at Talk TV. We're talking with Jaime Maussan, the man who made worldwide headlines a few weeks ago around the time of that NASA session. There was also a story out of Mexico. Jaime Maussan, investigator, journalist, and a man who has been at the centre of some controversy in the past, and he's in the centre of more controversy now. These claimed alien bodies from Peru were displayed before a part of the Mexican Congress and are now being analysed in Mexico. And we're told tonight that a report about that is due out, and that report may vindicate everything that Jaime Maussan has said, we are told. Plus, don't forget, a couple of minutes ago here on this station, Talk TV, Jaime Maussan made an offer to, I guess it goes to any research scientist in this country, maybe at a leading institution, but specifically to Oxford, that he will fund couple of scientists to go over and take a look at these things themselves and satisfy themselves as to what they might be. I think that's, for some scientists, I've known a lot of scientists, respect all of them, because I couldn't do what they do. Isn't that an offer you can't refuse? I don't know. Let's get back to Jaime Maussan. So, Jaime, you've made that offer. I don't know whether we'll hear anything about that. I suspect we might. There's been an investigation, or there's been the beginnings of an investigation in Mexico. What can you tell me about it so far?
About exactly what? Exactly, I didn't understand the question.
Well, I'm asking you about the scientific tests that have been done in Mexico so far.
Oh yeah, okay. Just a week ago, September the 18th, we made a live streaming from a laboratory with 3 different experts. 2 of them have never seen the bodies an orthopedist, a radiologist, and a forensic expert who the forensic expert knows perfectly the case because he started the investigation in 2017. Well, the other two didn't know anything. You can watch this in Maussan TV, my channel. It's going to be in Spanish, though, but you can see the images. If you understand a little bit of Spanish, you will understand the scientists, and you will see how surprised they are. And they are saying this is a living creature. There is no question about that. No, that's the reason I am so sure. I mean, from before and now, and again, the University of Ica will present the results, everything they know in detail, and that also will prove that this case is absolutely real.
If these were living creatures, do you think that they came here from somewhere, or were they here already 1,000 years ago?
I don't know. If they come from the space or they were here, we don't know. We know there is no a history of evolution to them and from them. It's like if they came and they leave. That's all we know. We have seen some figurines from the Dagu or Daju culture in Peru, in Japan, that are very, very similar to these bodies. It's some of the things that are interesting. But the real interesting thing is that these are physical bodies. Physical. They are not going to disappear. It's not a picture. It's not a video. The bodies are there. Either they are real or not. We think they are real. We are convinced they are real. Let me ask you something. You mentioned the Ministry of Culture that has a criminal investigation against me. Okay. And they are saying that the bodies were assembled. How can these assembled bodies be a natural treasure? It's some of the contradictions, because another contradiction is if these bodies were assembled, they are from 1,000 years ago. You know, then there are many contradictions, and they are going to have to answer all about that.
Let's go through some images that you sent this evening here, and we've put them together in one image, and we've numbered them. I think we can get these on the screen now, if the team can do that for me, because I think this is going to add some light to this investigation. Okay, we've numbered these 1, 2, and 3, and the first, of course, you can see the whole body. Now, at the top, around what would be, I think, the sort of thyroid area of the neck, the throat, you can see something that looks like maybe that metal you talked about. But can you talk to me about the image that is on the left-hand side of your screen? This is the skeleton.
Yeah, well, it's the skeleton. Well, you can see the metal in the top. Mm-hmm. You can see everything perfectly well built. It's not assembled. If we could see also the head, and you can see the connection from the neck up, and you can also see the eggs. The eggs are very important because according to the St. Petersburg University, they investigated this in 2017, 18, 19, and 20, and they found that the eggs had embryos inside. How can you fake that? You know, and the eggs are organic. They are not stones. You can see the hands. There are ligaments in the hands. That's how they move it. And again, even if you don't see in the hip, it is like it is not connected. But if you look closely, there is a capsule joining both bones. It means that they were very, very flexible, probably they run very fast. I don't know.
Right.
There are some of the things that we can see in that image. And again, the metal in the chest.
So this is obviously a pregnant female. There are eggs there with embryos, you say. And you also say, crucially, that as far as you're concerned, and as far as the scientists are saying that you know so far, this is one integrated structure, and you say that there is no way that that could have been put together by any kind of kit of bits.
Nobody has proven. Let me ask you something. Why someone in the world, in the whole world, tried to do something like this, tried to build it? Let's see if they can do something similar to this or exact to this. And you see that it's not going to be possible. This is just natural.
Why were these preserved, do you think, Jaime? How did they come to be preserved? Obviously, some civilization...
I think they were loved. They were loved by the inhabitants of Peru, inhabitants, because they were buried in this special place, where there is this diatomea earth, and the poison they put in the body, and both things help to preserve them. That was done by someone, probably humans, because they gave a special place to this. I think because there were at least 20 of those, 20. I think they die all together with some kind of sickness or something, because the eggs had embryos. They were okay, they were healthy, and suddenly they died. I think something very, very terrible happened to them.
But you think that the people who were around then venerated them, maybe even worshipped them, because they made a big deal of burying them in a particular way that we can find them now?
And they also put small toys that were assembled. Those were assembled by people, and they were there, like something they put in the when they make these burials, you know, for the other life or something. I don't know what. But those are the ones that are being analyzed or were analyzed by the Ministry of Peru. And that's confusion. But they create the confusion. They know they have never investigated these bodies. The University of Ica has had the bodies for 4 years. The Ministry of Culture never went there. And now they consider this a natural treasure. They are opening a criminal investigation when they never care about these bodies. That's the reason they left Peru. I think it's tragic that more than 20 of these bodies left Peru. Don't you think?
I'm reading here from 2015 that there was a bit of a controversy about involving yourself to do with mummified bodies. And I'm just going to quote this line here from a piece from, well, it's an agency that compiles news reports. But it was purported to be an alien. Later, though, the alien discovery was debunked and the mummified corpse was shown to be that of a human child. If that's so, you can understand why people are skeptical now, can you?
Yeah, but it's not true. I found the real body that was found by the archaeologist Palmer in 1897, and I have both pictures, and you can see that the body that was taken in a photograph in a museum is not the same than the finding of these archaeologists. It's as clear as that. We had to go to the files and through FOIA, and I received some help, and we found the picture. And the real body doesn't have anything to do with that. You know, but that's the same thing. I couldn't defend myself because it was just a picture. What can you do with a picture? And now we have a physical body, and the body is there. That doesn't have anything to do with anything I did before. I still believe that what I presented was real. I am not backing from my words or my presentation. And whatever one I sent you both pictures.
We have a saying here in the United Kingdom, I think they have it in America too, a gut feeling, you know, your instinct. Does your instinct lean towards saying that these are aliens? Or there's a question mark over what they might be, we know that, but do you think in your heart that these are aliens?
Yes, because they have technology. And that technology was not known 1,000 years ago. And because they remember, I presented DNA. Why nobody has read the DNA? Why nobody has told me that the DNA doesn't show anything? Why never anybody has told me that DNA doesn't prove anything? All right. And it's there. It's open to the public.
We have about 30 seconds. That's one of the downsides of television like this.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
Oh, we will continue. I'm traveling to Peru. I'm going to the University of Ica. I hope they will do a press conference without me. I don't need to be there. But they can present this to the world. That's going to be one thing. And I think when we have everything ready, the University in Mexico has been asked by the Congress to investigate this. Then I hope we will have a new public audience to present everything to the people, and you will decide then.
Jaime Maussan, thank you so much for your time. I apologize to the people who say that I'm interrupting, but we're out of time. This is The Unexplained from Talk TV.